So, hi everybody. This is a very, very important topic for all of you. This quote or this aphorism comes from Steve Jobs, whom I consider, after my acquaintance with communication, as one of the best communicators in the world. Not, the normal communicators. He was 100 notches above the average communicator, and we can learn a lot from his way of communication. And as I've been talking to all of you, as I've been telling you, the only thing that differentiates you from the rest of the crowd is your communication. Communication is 85% of the game. Your CV is not important. Your mark sheet is not important. Your marks are not important. Your extracurricular activities are not important. The way you present your ideas is important. If you are able to crack this code, you will see yourself at a very, very different level. So let us learn today some things what Steve Jobs has given us in terms of his stint with Apple company as a CEO, as a founder, as a person who has just kept on stretching the envelope and bringing technological revolution in this entire world. So let us listen to what he used to do and how he used to make magical presentations. So Steve Jobs is the best communicator in the corporate world. Born between 1955 to 2011, he really was a remarkable person. In 1955, he was born, and we can say that a legend was born at that point of time in California. Now, Steve Jobs worked for a video game maker, and he attended a meeting where he met Wozniak, Steve Wozniak. So, all of Apple that you see is the labor of two people. One is Steve Jobs, and the other one is Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs was the face of of that particular company, Apple, and Steve Wozniak was the technical person, the background, the person who was actually creating that technological revolution. But marketing was being done by Steve Jobs. Now, in 1976, Apple was formed, and Steve Jobs, Wozniak, and they formed it, and it was the biggest IPO that they had raised, $110 million at that point of time. And now I'll tell you something very interesting. He brought a gift to the entire of humanity, to the entire of the world, and he brought technological revolutions that people still are in awe of. Now, in 2010, he introduced the Apple, and in 2011, he said goodbye to the world. But what can we study from his entire story? Let us talk about that. He told three things very, very important. Number one, he said create a story. Then he told deliver the experience. And then he said refine and reverse. So we'll talk the entire presentation that I have for all of you is in three phases. I'm hoping that you're taking notes. I'm hoping that you'll ask intelligent questions after this particular conversation that I'm having with all of you. Now there was a point in time when Steve Jobs wanted John Scully, the chief marketing officer of Pepsi, to join Apple company as the chief marketing officer. Steve Jobs knew that if John can come into his company, Apple will go to the next level. But why will John leave his job at Pepsi, such a high position job? Why will he leave job? Look at the way Steve Jobs convinced him. Look at the wordings. Look at the imagery that he's creating with his words. And that is what can be learned. You have to create an imagination for the person. He said to John, do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugared water, Pepsi, or do you want to get a chance to change the world? Who would say no to that kind of an offer? He just demeaned the entire Pepsi industry, he just demeaned the colored sugared water concept to him and told him that come on to my ship, come on to Apple, and let us change the world. And you all know what the answer would be. John said yes, and he became the CMO of this particular company. He also said, very, very interesting, that it's very, very important for all of us, whoever is there in this room, to find out what you love. So if you love aviation, don't go and do CA. If you love CA, don't become a musician. If you are a musician, don't become a lawyer. We have so many people who are not following their passion. So find out what you love the most. And it requires a lot of introspection. But you know what? The best part is when you have done the introspection properly, then the thing is, you will be able to grow in your life very, very fast. You'll be having a trajectory like Steve Jobs. Now, according to Steve Jobs, truly great presenters like Steve Jobs visualize a lot. They visualize things. They plan the things and create the ideas on the paper before they open the presentation. Before they open their mouth, they have imagined everything in their mind, and they have done a lot of groundwork, and it reflects in their presentations. Now, look at this slide. This slide is the most important slide of this entire day: thinking, sketching, and scripting. According to this particular expert, Nancy Durate, she says that if you want to create a 1 hour presentation, 1 hour presentation containing 30 slides, you have to spend 90 hours in creating it, in thinking it, in sketching it, in scripting it, in rehearsing it. 90 hours for 1 hour. Just imagine the ratio. When you put efforts, results will follow, but you have to put efforts like this. How many of you are rehearsing like this? 90 hours for 1 hour. Why is it important for all of you to rehearse that much? In a 20-minute interview, your entire career of 20 years is decided. 20 years, whatever you have done in your life is decided in a 20-minute interview. If this 20-minute interview is not impactful, if you're not saying the best word, the best sentences, the best phrases, the best stories, the best examples from your life, you will not be selected. And that for that 20 minutes to count, because this 20 minutes is reflecting your 200 or 2000 minutes of your life, or 2 lakh minutes of your life, you have to ensure that it is the best. And how can you do that? Rehearsals, thinking, sketching, scripting. What are we doing in this particular group? We are trying to give you better answers. We are changing your CV. We are changing your LinkedIn profile. We are telling you this is not the right way of doing it. Create more stories. Why are we saying all of that? So that your 20 minutes with the interviewer becomes really, really awesome. And can we learn something from Steve Jobs? Absolutely, yes. Now, Steve Jobs used to do most of his demos. Okay. He used to do most of his demos. He did not give that demo to be done by, he did not delegate that, because he knew that he is the best presenter. He used that particular talent to actually go ahead and create those presentations and show those demos. Now, in every classical story, there is a hero and there is a villain. You have to create antagonists in your particular story. Okay. So how can you create an antagonist in your particular story? In every story that, Steve Jobs used to talk about, he talked about a villain. And because there was a villain, a hero is required to fight it. The bigger the villain, the bigger the hero becomes when he wins the war. If Ravana was not a very, very huge, colossal figure, Ram would never be counted as a god. Ram is counted as a god because Ravana was very, very big. And when Lord Ram killed Ravana, then everybody started praising Lord Ram. So the villain should be very, very big. I'll give you a practical example. You know the Hindu-Muslim debate in India. Though this is controversial, but if Pakistan is not the villain, then how will the Prime Minister of India become the hero? Right? So in his presentation, Steve Jobs used to actually, you can use these ideas in various, particular ways. Like for example, suppose the question in the interview is, tell me of a particular situation when you showed your leadership skills. Suppose this is the question that comes in your interview. How do you create the villain? Because if the villain is not big, so let me, I'm answering Parmeet's question. Suppose Parmeet has been asked this question: show me a particular time, tell me about a particular time in your life where you showed exceptional leadership skills and you solved the problem. My answer over there would be, dear sir, ma'am, whatever the panel is, in my schooling years, I was the captain of my basketball team. I was not feeling well. I was in my village. And then one day, what happened? I get a call from my principal. And then she asks me to prepare a team in the next 3 days' time, because we were going to play at a state level position in just 3 days' time. The school was not having any kind of time. Our reputation was at stake. I'm creating a villain. The villain is becoming bigger now, right? The reputation of the college was at stake. The principal put a lot of faith in me. If I failed at that point of time, I would have no. The problem is becoming bigger. If I had failed at that point of time, the reputation of my school would have totally got tarnished. So I was in my village. Once again, I'm adding to the problem. I'm making the problem even bigger. And then I asked my father that, sir, this is the father, Papa, this is the time I can save humanity. I can save my school. So we took a ticket instantly. It took me extra 500 bucks at that point of time. It took me extra 5,000 rupees to come from. I'm just creating the hero now. And I came to that particular place. I created the team out of nowhere. The team was not good. The team was not prepared. We did not finish first, but we finished second. But we got the award, and my principal hugged me for that. I created a villain. I created you as the hero, and you have won the match. That is what Steve Jobs used to do. So, in his particular presentation, when he was presenting Apple laptops to the computer, the laptops and computers used to look like this. Look at IBM PC. This is how it used to look like. So, he created IBM as the enemy. And then he created a solution, the avatar, the hero. When he was presenting iPhone to everybody, he presented BlackBerry as the villain. So many buttons, 32, 35 buttons. And he said, press only one button in MMDC. Sorry, MMDC, I'm saying, I'm so fascinated by MMDC. You know, only one button in iPhone. And he created the hero. That is how you have to create your stories. If the antagonist is not strong, then trust me, you are not going to get a lot of applause. Nobody will clap for you. You have to create the problem, hypothecate the problem, and then solve the problem. Next, he said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Why is this important? Look at Apple. They do not have too many buttons. They do not have too much of colors. They're very color conscious. They are available only in black, white, and gray. That's it. Not in green, not in yellow. They don't keep on changing their colors and all those things. They just keep it very, very simple. One single button will solve your problem. One single platform will solve your problem. There is only one type of charger that is available. So he used to say simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So wherever he was presenting, he said there will be no bullet points. In fact, they did a research and they found out that your brain hates bullet points. Your brain hates. So whenever you are seeing a presentation and somebody has used bullet points over there, that person is not going, the learner, the audience is not going to like the bullet points. It is the least effective way to deliver the important information. Now, this is what research says. If I give you the word bird, and if I show you the word, the bird, what's going to happen? This is the result. It's called picture superiority effect, PSE, according to psychologists. Picture superiority effect. If I tell a bird and if I show you the picture of a bird, two different things will happen. Look at the impact. If I give the word bird, you will be able to remember only 10% of that thing after 5 hours of the presentation. After 10 hours, no, after only 10% you'll remember after 72 hours. But if I show you the picture of a bird, you will be able to remember the bird's picture even after 72 hours, 65%. You'll be able to remember more. So this is what he used in his presentation. So Steve Jobs was always talking in the form of pictures. He was always trying to create imageries in the mind of the other person. Now, this is how somebody, a normal average guy, would have explained a MacBook Air. 13.3 inches, height 0.16 inches, storage 120 GB, battery power 37 watt, processor 6 MB. This is what a normal human being, a normal salesman would have done. You know what, how Steve Jobs did it? Look at the way he's doing it. He's doing the same thing. He's showing a demo. He's creating an imagery in the mind of the audience that when you purchase this particular product, it can fit inside a normal envelope. How amazing is that? The person who is listening to this kind of information, unlike this kind of information, if somebody tells you something, if somebody keeps on giving you stats, numbers, you'll forget everything. But nobody will forget an experience like this. He's giving a demo of the laptop going inside an envelope. Who will not remember it? So he never used to say 5 GB of storage. He used to say, carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. Once again, creating an imagery in your mind. Human beings remember the best when there is some image that is given to them, right? So it's very, very important that you give a lot of image. So people will forget what you said, but people will not forget how you made them feel. So he used to make people feel very, very important. He was always very confident in his language. He was always communicating with authority as if he knew everything about it. His energy was always high. Imagine this particular presentation if I'm giving like this. Will you love this presentation? No, you have to have energy. If the presenter is not having energy, if the interviewee is not having energy, the interviewers will not select you. You need to be speaking with confidence. You need to be speaking with authority. You need to have your voice and your gestures. You have to show that you are interested. First thing first, you have to have interest in this interview. Don't show that you do not have energy and you go to that particular interview. He will not select you. The company will not select you. The companies, the corporates in today's date are looking for people who are absolutely amazing in their confidence, can face eye to eye, have the energy, and communicate with authority, because that is missing. 400 years somebody cheated us. 400 years somebody became our boss. So we have that servant mentality. Britishers were ruling us for 400 years. Our fathers and forefathers were servants and gulams there. And that is why we have a very meek, habit of, sir, please give me this job. If you go with that attitude, nobody's going to like you. When you talk eye to eye, contact them properly, communicate your energy, communicate your authority, which will come through your knowledge, you will be appreciated. And last but not the least is practice. You know what? Steve Jobs used to rehearse for 48 hours before any presentation. He used to go on that particular stage and used to rehearse. And that is why he's called the god of presentations in today's date in the corporate world. He's known as a god. If Sachin Tendulkar is known as the god of cricket, it happened because he has played for the last 20 years of his life. I'll give you an example. I was reading it somewhere. Look at the commitment, you know what? Of Sachin Tendulkar. I was reading it somewhere. Very interesting. So Sachin Tendulkar used to bat at number 4. Match started. 1 wicket fell down. 2 wickets still to remain. Sachin Tendulkar walked with the second person and started and sat near in the heat. He moved out from his AC room and he moved in the heat and he was sitting over there. 2 batsmen are yet to get out. They have not got out. But he was sitting on the field. Somebody asked him, why are you doing it? He said, I'm rehearsing. Because the temperature inside is 20 degrees Celsius, the temperature outside is 30 degrees Celsius. I am just rehearsing it. I'm getting my mind, body ready for that particular game, which I'm going to play after maybe 2 hours, maybe after 3 hours, maybe after 4 hours. He's just getting ready. Are you rehearsing? How many hours have you given yourself before the interview? This 20 minutes will decide your life. These 20 minutes will decide which car you will drive, which boy or girl you will marry, which house you will live, which kind of vacations you will take. This 20 minutes, that is the only thing that you have. Are you making presentations like Steve Jobs? Are you rehearsing enough? 48 hours he used to spend all of his energy, and he used to keep people in front of them, Right now, Parmeet asked me, sir, please give me a feedback. What is she doing? She's asking somebody in a leadership profile to give a feedback. Why is that important? Feedbacks are important. This man, the founder and CEO of Apple, used to keep people around him, product managers, his company officials, CEO level, CMD level people, and he used to ask them for feedback. Where am I going wrong? At his stature, handling $1 trillion company, he used to ask for feedback. He was that humble. So when you're coming at MMDC, when you're coming at MMDC, or you're coming to your accountability partners, senior accountability partners, CEO, CMD, to me, when you're coming, ask for feedback. Come like an empty cup and take some feedback and implement it. If this man, such a such a senior level person, is taking feedback, even you should be taking feedback, all of you, and you should be accepting if there's something wrong, because somebody can correct you. So initially he was not good. This is how he gave his first presentation. So every master was once a disaster. So initially he was not good, but you have to keep on improving in your particular percentages. As Yamshi ma'am keeps on telling it, 1% daily. If you keep on improving 1% daily for 1 year, you'll be 3,700% times better in the next 1 year. So he was not good initially, but yes, he kept on improving. See, success is always work in progress. So Prasanna sir gave me his answer. Tell me something about yourself. I converted the answer and gave it to him. That is not the final answer. I will make it even better. I will make it even better. I will make it even better. I will make Prasanna sir speak that better answer, the best answer, 20 times with me. And then when he goes to the interview, it will be like, cakewalk. That is what we are getting you ready for. Life is tough for people who are not preparing. Life will not be tough for people of MMDC who are ready to face that particular challenge. But last but not the least, it's not about having or being boring. People love, you know, being laughed at. People love to make fun. People love to actually enjoy the entire process. So I do not want you all to take stress about it, that it is such a difficult thing. It's not. It's not that difficult. If I can do it, anybody in the team can do it. If Yamshi ma'am can do it, anybody in the team can do it. If Hina can give amazing presentations, anybody in the team can do it. It's just about knowing the right stuff. The kind of content that I've given you today, you will not find this kind of content anywhere in the world. In fact, this group earlier was called the 4% group. We'll give you the logic why it was called 4%. I'll make a video on this. Yamshi, please remind Kavita, please remind me why we used to call this the 4% group. Because the 4% of the world knows something which the other 96% do not know. So when you're going to an interview, be that 4%. When an MMDC person goes inside an interview, any learner of MMDC goes inside an interview, he is in the 4% category. He does not belong to the 96% who is losing the war. That is the idea at MMDC. Okay. And last but not the least, he said, stay hungry, stay foolish. Are you hungry for knowledge? What have you learned new today? What is the new learning that you have acquired today? If I continue this class till 10:15, are you hungry still to learn? Or are you tired? If you're tired, boss, you have a different game to play. I cannot help you, because you have to be hungry to learn more, to know more, to grow more. If that is not in your DNA, we cannot help you. The next thing he said, stay foolish. Behave as if you do not know anything. No, go to the master, go to the mentor, go to the guru with your cup empty. No, empty. Whatever you know, just drop it down, and then you go to the guru and say, sir, give me some knowledge. Fill my cup. If you go with a already full cup, which is full like here, if I drop water on it, what will happen? It will get wasted. My energy will get wasted. So I don't want to waste my energy. Amit Kumar Mehta or MMDC club members, they don't waste their energy. We don't want to. We want that when you come to us for guidance, please empty your cup and then come to us, so that we can pour some information, we can give you some expert knowledge which can take you ahead in your life. Okay, that's the message from my side to all of you. And I'll record this particular session and I'll send it to all of you. Now it's time that we can ask some questions. I'm stopping the recording now.